So what's up guys, and welcome back to the VFX tutorial. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make the anime Dragon Ball super blast effect like you've seen on one of my previous video. So let's get started. So I'll be using After Effects CC 2019 for this. You can actually use any of the After Effects, it doesn't really matter. So for this I already have my clip here. So let me just take it from the part where the whole action seems to be happening from, which is from this part here. So I'm just going to trim out this other part from Alt, select the clip and Alt open bracket. So it's just going to be up to this part where he actually lays the strike out, and then trim this part. So the first thing we're going to be doing, like if you see the clip, there are actually different things happening in the background, changing, blasting stuff. So the first thing we need to do is to replace the sky. I'm going to leave this clip as full so we can actually see everything. So I actually have my thunder background here. If you can actually see it, if I show you now, you can actually see this is a thunder layer sky, which we're going to be replacing it with. So I'm going to drag this underneath the clip. So yeah, we actually have it here. So I'm just going to shut down the audios of this clip so we can use it. So the next thing we need to do is select, make sure the thunder is under the clip, and then you're going to select this now, which is this the clip, and then click the pen tool, and then now we have to max the background, and we're going to be doing this pretty fast. I'm going to be speeding up this process to make everything quick. Okay guys, so you can see I'm already done with doing the maxing. You can see I already maxed the layer, and then now the thunder layer is beneath the video. You can see the sky is actually blasting some of the sparks and lightning. So yeah, everything is actually looking good now. So the next thing we need to do, I already adjusted my thunder layer. As you can see, it's already been adjusted and everything's actually sparking, looking good. So the next thing we need to do now is to duplicate the video layer. This is the video layer. I'm going to be duplicating this, and then I'm going to be bringing this one underneath the video, underneath the thunder, sorry, and then press M on my keyboard and then delete the mask which is on this layer. So now, as you can see, remember the video, it was this part where he actually held the ball in his arm. This was where the sky actually changed to. So the part where he actually held the ball on his hand, this is where we're going to change the weather. So come over to the thunder layer and then press T on your keyboard to bring out the opacity of the layer. This is the thunder layer. So I'm going to be clicking the stopwatch, turning on the stopwatch at when it's 100% at this point, then take it back a little bit to when it was actually about to start, and then take this down to 0. Let me take this down to 0 so you can actually see normal weather. So if I should play this now, this is what you get. So you can see that actual transformation like this, it goes in like this. You can see this now. Good. So once it's done with the whole thing, as you can watch in the video, once it's done, the weather has to change back. So you have to press T on your keyboard again. Okay, it's already still on, so you have to click the stopwatch again from this end this time, and then as it's going to this part, you change it back to 0 to make it go back. So at the end of the day, this is what you get now. So at the beginning, you can see this changes into another cloud, and then once it's done, the weather changes back. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do now is to pre-compose this whole thing. So we'll move on to the next part. So select all the layer by pressing Ctrl A on your keyboard, right click, and then pre-compose. Then it should give you the options of align you. So I'm just going to say this as video layer. This is what I'm going to name this as video. So click OK. So now click back here. So now we'll have the layer now. So let me just put press N on your keyboard to trim the max part, the line, the work area. I'm going to do trim to work area, so we just have just this layer. So now the next thing we have to do now is how to fix in the anime, the Dragon Ball on his arm. So let's go into that. So the next thing we need to do is to come over to this part, right click, new, adding a solid, and we're going to be calling this ball. This is the energy ball, so we're going to call this as energy ball. So come over to your effect and preset, and then type out fractal noise. So this is what we'll be needing. Double click on this. We'll be needing this. So we're going to be changing this from basic to dynamic. I think it should be left at soft linear. So I think we need this as 146 should be good enough. And then for the brightness, I'm going to be taking this to like -20. I think this will be good enough. Yeah. So and then for the evolution, we need to animate this to move. So let's say at this point. So for the evolution, I'm going to be turning on this the beginning, and then let me say I'll take it to the end. I'm going to be changing this to, let me press it on my keyboard so you can see this. At the end, I'm going to change like 15, or let's say 16, 580 will be good enough. Yeah, so if we should play this now, this is what you get this animation that's actually moving. Like, yeah, this is what we actually really need. So the next thing you need to do is to come over to your effect and preset, and then type out CC sphere. This is what gives it that shape we should actually see on the ball, that gives it that Dragon Ball shape on your arms. So let's wait for it to load up. So as you can see now, we have the shape of the ball, and you can actually see the whole thing actually revolving inside the ball. So now the next thing, we need to make this a little bit more smaller to fit into his arm. So we need to animate this to be small. First, we need to animate this to fit his arm. So we're going to reduce the scale, the radius size down. Now let's zoom this in so we can actually see what we're doing. So everything's actually big. Okay, very good. So to scale this down, and then you can use the radius pointer to fix it the way you want it to be. I think it's a little bit too big though, but let's just scale this down to at least about, depending on the size of your clip. Okay, this will be good. Okay, this is good enough. Now we need to animate the position of this whole thing so that it moves as his hand is moving, like the one you seen in the video. Yeah, so guys, so we had to use the radius to scale down the size of the sphere so we can actually get the size. So now the next thing, you need to animate this to move with his hand, which we're going to be using the offset, which is actually the position. You can see if we try to move this now, you can notice anywhere we click, that's where it's moving to. So we need to animate the position for this thing move. So we need to animate this now. I'm going to be animating this time to time. So I'm going to turn on the stopwatch at this point. So it should be here. So now guys, as you can see now, the ball is actually animated and it follows its hand and its movement and everything's actually going on fine. So but now we need to animate the ball to actually fade in as it moves his hand, and so it doesn't come out this part. So we need to fade in like this from here, it comes in. So the next thing we have to do is come over to this ball layer, press T on the keyboard, and at this part where his hand is actually moving in, click the stopwatch to be exactly at 100%, and then take it a little bit forward and then zero this out so it comes out like this. Oh, that was too sharp, so we need to take it a little bit forward this way. So let me increase this part. So yeah, we got a nice one now. So the part whereby he hits the ball out, we need to also fade it out, so this part, so it doesn't go out so much, this part, so it comes here. At least this is good enough. So I'm going to select this part to be the 100, and then as it goes out immediately it's wiped out. Okay, whoa, it's wiped out. So this was too close, so let's take this a little bit inside. So yeah, this will be good enough now. Yeah, so we have a good shot now. So now we have a good shot. So the next thing we need to do is come over to turn the layer into we need to change the blending mode to add of this ball. So we're going to be changing this from normal to add. So now it looks like a glass, like you can actually see it now. It looks like it's an invisible air ball. Yeah, we know it's that. So the next thing I would like to add the VC color vibrance to this, like VC color vibrance to change the color. So if I put this in, it's normally a green color that comes out first. Let's see how it goes. Okay guys, so you can actually see it now. It's not a green ball, but from the actual video we actually saw a blue ball, so we need to change this into a blue color. So we need to change this into a blue. That's what we need. The energy ball needs to be blue. Yeah, blue. So there's still one thing we need to add. We need to add a CC vector fast blow. That should make the ball, I think, look a little more precise, to be more visible. So let's see how it goes. So at least now we have this. Now we have the effect. So the next thing we need to do now is to add in the shockwave blast we saw in the video. So we actually have a shockwave blast here, which is the shockwave impulse. Everything needed will be added at the description of this video. So here we go. So we actually have this, guys. So this is the shockwave. So you can see it, it looks real wow. So I'm going to change this from normal to add. So we have this now. If I should play this, this is what we have. Wow, it looks amazing. It looks amazing. So now we need to make this work same line with the orb. So now first we need to enable the time remapping to make it look a little bit fast, because it seems it's a bit too slow. So I'm going to change this from 100 to about 60. That would be good enough for now. So I'm going to scale this down a bit. So I'm going to wait to the part where he strikes out. Okay, this is the part where he needs it. So I'm going to be taking this to this part where he strikes out. Yeah, so and then another thing is I still have to scale this down a little bit more. Scale, and then take this to where his arms are actually located. I'm going to toggle on switch and then make this layer a 3D, so I can actually rotate this a little bit, slant it towards that direction, left, right. Yeah, exactly. So this will be much better now. So it looks as if it's 3D. So if you should pump it out, this is how it looks. Now we're getting there, we're getting closer. So now I'm also going to be adding the VC color vibrance to this layer too. Now just watch what happens. You turn into a green. Okay, sorry, this is a CC vector blow. Sorry, this is not what we come back to here. So I'm going to be adding the VC color vibrance to this. Now it's all looking green, but we're not looking for green, we need to be blue. Yeah, I think we should have a color code to this blue, but this should be it too. Now, so we've got this now. So if we should play this now, after this is where you get wow, this is looking good, but we're still not done yet. Okay, there's still a lot of stuff we need to put into the workload to make it look a little bit more realistic, like the anime. I know the ball is not even that showing that much. Yeah, so the shockwave is actually there. So now The next thing we need to do now is to add in the energy ball, like that smoke you actually see when it was actually raising his arm and stuff like that. So I'm going back to my project, and then going back to this chaotic. This is the smoke. So let me go back to the part where he gets the ball closer to his body, which was immediately got to this part. This is where the whole smoke thing comes out from. So this smoke layer is really big. It's actually a 4K textures thing. So I'm going to be scaling this down. First, I'm going to change this from the normal mode to add, so we can actually see every part of it. So let me scale this down so we can actually see it. No, this is a landscape video. I'm sorry, portrait video. So let's see where it's coming out from. Okay. So I'm going to take this to this part and then scale this down. Yeah, so immediately the ball comes close to his body, it then starts generating the smoke, which you're actually seeing it. Okay. Yeah. So there you go. You can actually see the smoke is actually coming out. Yeah. So we need to add in the VC color vibrance to this. So I just want to add in more. So I just have to come back to this one, which we've already added here. Just press Ctrl C on the select VC color vibrance from the effect, Ctrl C on that, and then come over to the chaotic, which is the smoke layer, and then press Ctrl V to paste it in. So yeah, now it's all blue. Voila, we got another blue. So right now we just have to be doing copy and paste to all, so that we have one color code on everything. Okay. Yeah. So now as soon as you blast, he blasts the stuff out. As soon as he blasts the whole thing out, now you should fade this. Now go to the, as soon as he blasts this out, you should fade the layer. You just take it front a little bit to wait for the whole thing to die out a little bit, slowly wait. At this point, I think what you should do is, when it's actually getting done a little bit, you can actually come to this part and then press T on your keyboard. Yeah, I think this part's too okay. Yeah, it's good enough. Press T on your keyboard and then a little bit forward, and then this should fade out. I should take this a little bit forward, so because that was too fast, it was too close for it to go out. So now if I should play this now, this is what you get now. So this is the chaotic, which is that smoke you're actually seeing it. And then yeah, you can see it's going out slowly. Yeah, it's going out. And then the next thing to change out should be the weather. You can see the weather, it goes back, everything going back to normal. Yeah, now that's good, that's pretty good. So the next thing we need to add now is the blast line that came out from the saber, the blast line that came out from the energy ball. So which we actually we'll be using saber for. So we're going to be using saber for that. So we have to come over to new layer, new, and then layer, new, and then solid. I'm going to be calling this as saber, so we don't get mixed up with the other layer, because there are going to be a lot of layers into this place that make your thing look messed up. So I'm going to be adding the saber to this, and then double click on this to add it to the layer. So you can actually leave it this way, but I'm actually going to be changing mine to fractal. This is one I use, and I'm going to change this from blue, orange to blue, just to match that color sequence. Okay, so that's it. So I'm going to be changing this from the saber layer from normal to add. This is what I'm going to be doing for everything. So I'm going to shut this down off first, then select the saber layer, and then select the pen to draw a mask from here and then to outside the screen. Now this is good. So now come over to the customize core, change this from saber to layer mask. Remember I told you guys about this, and then turn back on the saber layer. You should see now that the saber is actually now following the layer marks we drew. Now this is amazing. So now we need to animate this to pump out, like when he blasts out, that's when the saber pumps this energy out. So we have to go to this part. This is where it blasts everything is out. So we have to use the start or end offset depending on which one match is what we're doing. Let me try the end offset. Okay, yeah, the end offset is it. So I'm going to take this down to 0 and then press U on my keyboard. So first I have to turn on the stopwatch. Now I should press U on my keyboard. Now I have one keyframe on the saber layer. So this is the part. As soon as he blasts, let me wait. As soon as he blasts, so let me shift this shockwave a little bit because it seems it came out too early. So as soon as he blasts, so it should be at this point. So let me take this about, sorry. So let me take this a little bit forward and then take this back to 100. Yeah, so we got something like this now. Wow, so you see it? Wow, this is not looking good. It's not looking more like an anime stuff. It's actually coming into play now. Everything's actually coming into play. So now, okay, so wow, that's really amazing. So now we need to also end this. We just don't want it because now you can see it's actually still there. So we need to end this part. So immediately his hand leaves the blast effect. Yeah, it needs to move out. So at least at this point it should be going out from here. So we should start now. This is when we start with the start offset. Click on the stopwatch and then move a little bit forward and then increase it. Now make sure it goes to the end. And wow, so we got this. So if I should play this now, we got an in point and then an out point. You can see it. That's how it works. Now it's really amazing. You can also adjust that to make it look a little bit, if it's too fast for you, you can actually adjust that to make it look a little bit more slower. So now that we got that smooth animation from the in and out, so now we need to also add this to the floor. You know, there was actually a reflection to the floor, so we need to add this down to the floor. So I'm going to be duplicating the saber layer and then select the saber layer, which is this, and then press Ctrl D. Yeah, so now we need to take this down to this part here. But now we cannot let this to be the same color, okay, to the same brightness. So we have to press T on the saber layer, then reduce the opacity down. You can actually change this to screen just to reduce the rate at which it appears. Or if that's not good, you can actually take this back to 100. Leave it as normal. Sorry, change this to add. Sorry. So you can actually take this to about 59. This is for the ground layer. And change this to about 0.21. I think this should be good. I should take this down. Then decrease the opacity a bit. So we should get something like this. Let me increase the blue color. I think I need to make this to be more blue. Okay, yeah, so we have a cool, nice animation now. Yeah, so now another thing we need to do is the customize. We need to make the core soft for both saber layer. Now this is the top one. We need to make it soft. Increase the softness to about 9. The other one also increase the softness to about 9. Where's the part? There's the part. End roundness, increase it, this end roundness, and then also the start roundness. Also increase this up to. All edge needs to be soft, so everything looks really good. So this is not actually perfect though. I'm just actually doing this for the sake of tutorial, so you guys can actually take your time. I'm just doing this for the sake of time, so we can actually wrap this up. So I'm also going to be reducing the opacity of the reflection layer again a little bit, which is that I just did that. So yeah, so it's looking a little bit done. So the next thing we need to do is adding the thunder lightning to the shock, which it did, like we actually did in the video. So I'm going to be adding this lightning. Let me check which one is it. We need the one that actually strikes straight down from up top. So okay, yeah, this is exactly what we need. So we'll be adding the thunder lightning to this. I'm going to be bringing this down into the scene. Yeah, so I'm going to be rotating this. First of all, I have to rotate this to make it look left to right, and then I'm going to be scaling this down to fit your thing. Yeah, so we got this now. So it still needs to look straight, so I'm going to be rotating this again, straight. Yeah, so scale again. Yes, so now I've got this now. So if we should play this now, it should go like this alongside with the lightning. But if you can notice, the lightning it's not looking all too good. It's not looking that good, and it's not actually that creative. It does not even stay to the end of the clip, like it goes out before the clip actually ends. So what we have to do now first is to make this clip look good. First, we're going to be changing this from normal to add, just to brighten the color. You can see it now, it's now looking more like a thunder lightning. So you can actually see it. So I'm going to be using 2 of this. I can actually duplicate the thunder layer. There are multiple ways of doing this. Is one of the ways. So as soon as you can see it now, I had to duplicate it and then move it a little bit just to make sure it fits with the timing. So yeah, so I'm gonna be you see the first one, I'm gonna be duplicating this other one again, and then this time I'll have to rotate this the other way. So I'm gonna have to toggle on switch. Let me first of all shut down these first 2 thunder layers so we don't get confused. So I'm gonna be duplicating. I already duplicated this one, so I'm going to be making this a 3D, and then I have to rotate this. Sorry, I'm scaling this up. So you have to rotate this, like flip this upside down. So now it's as if it's actually from up and bottom. So if I should turn on the top one, this is the top one. If I should turn this on now, you can see this is actually 2 sides of the thunder. So yeah, I should shift this one a little bit to the middle, so we have this lightning. Now remember what we did for this one on the top. I had to duplicate it and then shift it a little bit so that it can fit to the end. I'm going to be duplicating this one and then take it to the end so it matches with this one. So yeah, so we'll go top and bottom now. Nice, everything's actually now coming into play now. So you can actually this thunder layer, you can actually duplicate this again, and then this time take this down to the floor to match with this lightning on the floor. But this time you have to reduce the opacity down, take it down so it's faded, like you can hardly see it, but let it be there. You can actually toggle switch and then maybe change this into screen mode. Oh, but screen mode is not that good, so we have to let this to add so you can actually see it a bit. So you can actually see it now. We have something actually looking good. But if it's not good for you, you can actually shut it down. Okay, I'm just saying as an additive to add this to it. So now the next thing we also need to do is, if you could see before the clip actually started, there were actually some thunder busting into the screen from left to right, all around the side. So these were actually the thunder layer which we that we added to the strike. So I'm going to be adding that again. I'm going to be bringing this same thunder layer into the scene. This time we actually exactly adding into the scene to make it look more fun. So this is the part where it started. So yeah, this one I just brought this one in. This one just in front of the screen. I'm gonna be changing this to add, so it all look good. So here we go. This is one. So I'm gonna be duplicating this and then putting it on different sides of the screen, so it looks good. Ooh. Wow, so you're actually having the Super Saiyan Blast mode and everything's actually looking good now. So now, as you guys can see, everything's actually coming into play. The whole thing is actually falling into like the one you're actually seeing. There are some things we are going to be excluding on this video that we're not going to be adding just for the sake of time. So for the next thing we need to do now, if you can actually see when the smoke was actually coming out, it was actually glowing. Some of the lightning, we need to add some glow effect to the lightning. You can actually come over to any of the lightning effects and then add the optical glow to make it look more bright, more shiny. Like let me add it to one of these lightning layers so you guys can actually see it. Everything's actually looking bright. So let me say I'm going to be adding the optical glow effects to the ball layer to make it look more bright, because it's not looking that bright. I think that's the only thing that's not looking really bright in this clip. So this is actually loading up, so let's see how it goes. So wow, you can actually see it's actually shiny now, like the brightness has increased. So the optical glow actually sells everything out. So the next thing we need to do now is to add in that bulge effect that makes it look like as if it's actually flamey. Yeah, so we need to add in a layer, new, and an adjustment layer. We're gonna be doing this like up to 3 times. So let me just take this up a bit to the top. Make sure it's at the top of the, or like the top of the food chain. So we're going to take it to this part where the whole thing was actually boiling. This is where we need it. So yeah, so we're going to be adding the heat distortion plugin to this. Like in this tutorial, we're actually using almost every of the plugins to formulate this heat distortion. So now you can see the whole clip is now looking a little bit rough because of the heat distortion we added. So we're going to be leaving this. You can see there are different presets, but we're going to be leaving this as fire. So I'm going to be changing this to 17, and then this to about 6.0. Let's leave it at 6. There we go. Now we have that effect that looks like a water. So I'm going to be selecting this and then select the ellipse tool. I'm going to be creating a round max part around this ball, because this is the only part where we need effect to be around for now, and then feather this a bit. Yeah, now this looks good. If I should play this now, you should get something like this. So you can see that effect that looks like a water effect. It's actually moving around the ball. So you can see it, that his hands actually moving like as if there's a flame moving around his arm. Okay, so yeah, you can actually animate the max part to follow the ball up to the part where he moves his hand out. So this part, so let me just move it a little bit towards this part here. So I'm going to be turning on the max part from here. I think this is the part where he moves, so let me just shake this a little bit forward and then wait till where he moves and stop. So I'm going to be taking this a little bit forward to where he stops moving his arm, which is this part. Yeah, so that's good. So now we also need to add the in and out opacity up to this layer where actually the energy started flowing. So this is the part whereby his hand moved to the ball. Because if you can see here, it's actually here, so we need to fade this in and out. So let's wait to the part where he gets the ball close to his chest. This is where the energy will started, so we have to press T on the opacity of this, we need to work on this thing. So this should be at 100%, and then take this a little bit forward and then fade this out. You also need to do this to the end. So take this to the end where you actually blast the ball out of his hand. Yeah, so now we need to fade this by pressing. Okay, the T is already turned on, so I'm going to click this, add another stopwatch to this part, then come forward a little bit and then fade this out. Yeah, so fade out like totally out. So now that's for the ball. Now we need to add in another heat, that bulge effect again, to this shock wave to make it look the same way, a little bit more good. So I'm going to be duplicating this layer again, but this time press U on your keyboard. There will be some changes around it because this is the part where the shock wave comes out from. That's where we'll be doing the changes. Okay, so let's wait till the part where the shock wave comes out from. So this is the part where it comes out from. Let's take this closer, closer, closer. Okay, so this is where it starts from. Okay, so now I'm going to be deleting this max part because I need to create a new one. Doesn't really matter, I can actually create a new one. So first of all, I'm going to take this opacity. I'm just going to drag this and select the two, extend this, take this a little bit to this edge, because this is the part where it comes out from. That's where it's actually going to be starting in from. So I think here is good, so it comes out from here like bam. So now we need to create a circle around the ellipse around this your arm, because this is where it comes out from. This is startup point, and then press F on your keyboard to feather the max part a little bit. So at least 9 will be good enough. So if I should take this a little bit forward now, you can see how it grows big. So we need to animate this to follow this whole thing. So this is the point where it starts from here. So let me double click this, take this down a little bit. Now press M on your keyboard and then turn on the stopwatch for the max part, and then take this forward till the part where you know it reaches its extreme, where it reaches the extreme. This is not the extreme, this is not the extreme, this is not the extreme. So this should be the extreme. Okay, this should be like where it stopped growing. So this is the part where I think it stopped growing. So we need to select layer again, double click this, and then scale this up to fit in on every part where it actually blew out. So I think this is too big. Let me scale this down a bit. Yeah. So now here, yeah, this is a cool one. So press F on your keyboard to feather the max part again, so that it fades out to all parts. So yeah, I think this is good enough now. Now I should press U on your keyboard. We should see every of the keyframe. So this is the keyframe of the max part, of how it moved from being small to being its big size. This is the layer, this is the opacity of how it all started from here. So I'm just going to take this to this part where it started fully, so everything is in line. So it immediately blows out. You should let this be a little bit, you should let it stay a little bit. Then while it's going out, we can actually then put in the fade out effect for it to fade out. Yeah. So wow, this is what we've got now. Wow, so you can actually see that, guys. It's actually looking amazing, but the outpour, like the way it went out, was just too fast. So we can actually extend this outpour a little bit, take the opacity moving out to the end a little bit, so you can actually get this inflow and outflow. Wow, so now that is looking much better than before. So you can actually get this look now. Now that's looking much better. So now the next thing we need to do, guys, we also need to add this effect to this lightning part that moved from the energy ball out, the lightning part. Okay, so we also need to add that. So for one last time, we're going to be duplicating this layer again. This time, go back to the max path again. You have to delete this max path. This time we're creating a different max path. Let me first of all shorten the layers again. We are creating a different max path because we need to make it move from here to this part, like the blast line. So which is from, it moves from here to this end. So here is where it's going to be starting from. Here. So I have to change the paint, the stuff to this rectangle tool. So I'm going to create a long rectangle from here because this is the part which it will be passing through. This is just adding that glow, that bulge effect to make it look that like really it's a Super Saiyan. Let me take this part. I think this will be good enough. So press M on your keyboard. Let's go to where it starts from. It starts from here. So I'm going to be taking this to the beginning. No, let me take this to the part where it fully comes out. Yeah, so this is the part where it fully comes out. So I'm going to press M on my keyboard to animate the max part. Yeah, so now we have this shape at the end, and then I'm going to take this back to the beginning where it all started, which is here. So I'm going to be selecting these two edge, just highlight and select, and then close this. Now we've got something like this. So if I should turn this on now, you can see that bulge effect is now in here now. So it's almost on every part. So you can see that watery effect, making it look really good. So you can actually reduce it if you feel it's too much. You can actually come over to this part to reduce it a little bit, just to make sure everything is not too fake. So now the next thing we need to do is also increase the feather part of the blast layer. So at least about 8, so we're good enough. So now that's not all. You know, after the blast finishes, it moves out from this part back to the out of the screen. So if we should play this now to this part where it goes out of the screen, you can see that it moved out of the screen. So we also need to make the bulge to follow it. Okay, so press M on your keyboard again to see the max part. So this part where it was actually going out, first thing to do is first of all come back to the max part, this part, and then click here, create another point. Now at the point where it finished going out, the bulge, you just have to animate these two. Select these two edge, just highlight. Sorry about that. There are a lot of layers here, so you need to be careful the way you move things. So select these two and then drag to the end. Make sure it's straight, okay, so you don't make any mistake. To the end like this. So it should be fast though. Voila, so we've got that effect. Now I think we're all good to go. So we're just left with one last thing now, guys, is to add in that effect that you saw on his cap when he was actually trying to blast. You saw some saber moving on his body, some lightning. I'm just going to be doing just one, so you guys can actually learn from there. You can actually do more of that. So I'm just going to be doing one to his cap. So for his cap, I'm going to be adding a new layer. This is really solid. I'm going to say it as body glow or body light. Now I'm going to be adding the saber effects plugin. That should be it. So I'm going to be shutting this down for a bit. So I have to zoom closer so this effect can actually work fine. Let's take this to be at full resolution. So now I will have to add in the pen tool and then make sure the saber layer, the body lights layer is selected, which is also the saber. I have to create a shape around this. This won't be perfect though. So yeah, I think that's it. This shape should do the trick. Or maybe I should add another shape to make it look like a V. Yeah, this is good. So now if I should turn back this layer now, everywhere should be dark with the saber. So now next time we have to do is come over toggle switch mode, and then change this from normal to add, and then go over to the saber menu, effect control menu, customize core, change from saber to layer max. So now it should go on top of the cap, and then core softness, increase this a bit to about 6, should be good enough. Core start roundness, increase this too, and then end roundness, increase this too. Yeah, so now we need to animate this to move by pressing M on your keyboard. This is where it all started. Let's look for where it started. I'm just going to do a rough one here. Let's say it starts from here. You're going to press M on your keyboard and then move this a little bit to this part, and I'm going to animate this one so it ends somewhere around here on his trousers or to his waist. So it should end somewhere around here. So I'm going to select this pen tool to make this thing curve a little bit, so let there be a curve to make it smooth. Now I have a nice curve. I can reduce this a bit though. So I'm going to press Alt on my keyboard and then close brackets to cut out the other part of the saber. So same thing I will be doing for this part too. Open bracket for that. So I think if I should play this now, this is what you get. So guys, you can actually see that it was actually really fast. He just moved from his head to his heart to his waist. So if I want to make it look more interesting, I can add more by duplicating this layer and then adding more. But for the sake of time, I'm not going to be doing that. That will be left for you guys to do. I can actually just duplicate this to make it 2, or make it at least to be like 3, and then I can add more to different parts of his body as it gets to his leg, and just work with something that way. You can actually see it, guys. You can actually see the energy flowing down to his waist. So just a quick one I like to add, guys. One last part I actually forgot to add is that to sell everything to make the effect look more realistic is that same way we added light reflection to the floor, we need to add a light reflection to his body and his clothes, you know, because you cannot tell me that this whole lightning will be blasting out from his arm and then there's nothing reflecting on his clothes. So I think what we need to do is add in a new layer, an adjustment layer, and then this time we'll be adding the the curves effect. The other ways of doing this, I'm just going to be using this way, which is the most I think is simplest. And since everything is actually blue, you just have to change this to the blue and then increase this a little bit to the top. You could actually notice the whole scene is actually coming blue. Yeah, so just for this, so now we have to create a max part around the bulge layer there. This layer. So just for this part alone, because this whole thing won't be adding this to every other part. Okay, so let's just put this a little bit to this part. So here should have that blue curve thing. So now you can notice there's a blue around this area. So you press the F on your keyboard to feather the max part, feather this out. So I might be taking this a little bit far to like 60. So now you can actually see this now. So I'm going to be animating the max part. So press M on your keyboard. So yeah, so I'm going to be taking this to the beginning. Let me see how it comes out from the beginning. We all started, so this is where it started from. So I'm going to be taking this part to the beginning, and then from the beginning I'm going to be making this a little bit smaller. So I have to select the edge of this max part and then take it closer to this point, make everything look really small. So let's make it small, this also smaller. Yeah, so press T on your keyboard make this 100, and then take it back a little bit to the beginning where it started from, and then reduce this down to 0. So if you play this one, you got something like this. So yeah, you got this blue environment thing, like there's this whole force field of blue next around. You can see this reflecting on this trouser. Yeah, so this is it. You see how it just moves out. Now this whole blue thing is just around this whole place. So now immediately this finish is blasting out the whole blue thing. You can actually I think you need to extend this to the front a bit. I press you on my keyboard so I can see the max part. Okay, so I think you need to extend this to this part because it actually goes out of the screen too, so you need to extend this out. So yeah, so now the part where it actually ends, where there's actually nothing, where the blast actually ends, I take it a little bit closer to this part. So it's still there. So this part, this is where it actually ends out. So I'm gonna be creating another max parts here. So now you see this first part, max part. I just don't want to do the same shapes. I just have to copy this first one, which is actually this in this format. I'm just gonna copy this and then bring it to this part, which is where it all ends. Now see, everything just moves back. See that it moves back. It's supposed to be exactly from this part though. So I think I should take it from this part where it's actually everything's actually fading out from here till this point back. Then the next thing I have to do is fade out the opacity. So I just have to copy this opacity from here, Ctrl C, and then since the indicator is here, I just have to press Ctrl V. And then I'm going to be changing this because this part is 0, this first one is 0, and then the other one is 100. So I'm going to be replacing it as a reverse. So it's now moving from 100 back to 0. So if you should look at it slowly, look at this layer, you can see it's going out, it's fading out, then it's gone. So that's it for that color thing. That's what it's actually doing. So, and pretty much one last thing you need to do is you need to take this underneath the layer. It needs to be beneath all the adjustment layer that we're having the heat distortion, so it syncs properly to the cloth. So now everything will now be looking all good. Okay, so guys, so to crown it all, to end the whole thing, is that the last thing we need to add is the dust effect that was also in the video. So so what I'm going to do there is I'm going to double click on this dust footage, and just this part. So just this part. So yeah, what I did was I double clicked it from here, from the project menu, and then from here, because I want to trim it out from here, so this is just the part I need. I'm just going to do the same thing as Alt, close brackets, and then it's down. So I'm going to drag this down to the clip. It's nice there on the clip. This is actually trimmed now. So I'm going to select go back to effect and preset, and then type key lights. Just remove the green screen. Click on it. And select this, and then select the green screen. So now the dust comes in where you blast, where you did the blast. That's where the dust comes in. Okay. You put this at quarter resolution so we can actually read faster. So as you can see now, the dust has been added, and we have it here at the point whereby the whole stuff is coming outside. So now the next thing we need to do, we need to take this dust a little bit up to this part, because this is where the whole action is happening from. Yeah. So now we have to duplicate this again. This time make it 3D. So now that we've duplicated the layer, now I'm going to be turning this one. I'm going to be flipping this upside down. Yeah, upside down, make it opposite. I'm going to be taking this down. So now if you play this is what you get. So as you can see now, you can see the dust simulation. It's actually bumping up on the screen. One was actually flipped upside down and the other was there. You can add more dust simulation, okay guys. And if you feel like the dust edge, like if you double click this at the point where it starts, you can actually see that there was actually some parts of the dust particle. If you feel like this is going to be an issue to your scene, it doesn't blend well, you can actually use the pen tool, the shape tool or the ellipse tool to create a shape around this part, and then go back to your scene. That should clear out the underneath, and then change it from add to subtract. But for my scene, it's not really affecting anything though, because everything was actually blending well. So I'm not sure I'm going to be adding that max part. So that's it for this part. So that's how you add the dust, and then everything is looking all good. Okay guys, so that's it for this tutorial. That was how I was able to make this anime blast effect. So everything you guys will be needing will be provided inside the tutorial. There'll be a link to download this for those of you actually watching this on YouTube or anywhere you're watching this from. But for those on the masterclass, there will be everything will be stored inside the asset folder for you guys to access. So thanks guys for watching this video. Let's head on to the next one. So what's up guys, and welcome back to the VFX masterclass in After Effects tutorial. So today I'm going to be showing you guys, we're going to be talking about three different things. We're going to be talking about green screen removals, VFX compositing, and also a little bit of minor color corrections. I know you guys might be asking what a green screen. You can actually see a couple of my videos. Like these are videos I actually done before, whereby you can actually see actors being moved in one place to another, or backgrounds are actually replaced. Those are actually green screen effects. With the help of green screen, those are actually done. And then compositing is basically adding different assets to the green screen effect you actually did, like adding different assets such as videos, pictures to form a cool scene. And then the color correction is basically just to enhance the color to make it look good. Like you can actually see this video actually displaying. This is a video I actually did for a musician in Nigeria named Lee Kesh on this music, Lee Kesh and Zinoliski on this music video, Don't Call Me. So you can actually see the VFX. You can actually check this on YouTube. Okay, it's actually on YouTube, so you can actually go view this. So basically, and you can actually see the one I actually did for my sci-fi video, the Optef 2, where every of the VFX art is green screen. So basically, I'm going to be showing you guys how to do that. So without further ado, so let's get started. So basically, I'm going to be bringing in the videos that you just watched. This is one for the Lee Kesh. And also, I'm going to be bringing in watch. So let me take this in, drag and drop. Yeah. So basically, we need to start up with this one here. Okay, so basically, I have my two clip here. So now, okay, so basically, I'm going to be dragging my clip in. Sorry about any background noise you're actually hearing. Actually downstairs, and it's actually noisy a little bit. So this is the clip here, and I'm going to bring this in. So basically, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can actually remove this green screen. And one thing also you need to know about green screen is that your green screen needs to be at least a little bit green, like really green. Like you see this color, I think at least dark green, like the ones you actually see in a movie. If not, and your green screen needs to be properly lightened. If not, your scene will not be okay to composite, or the green screen will not be properly removed. So now go over to your After Effects and then come over to effect. If your effect and preset menu is not actually here, make sure your workspace is actually on standard. If this is not here, then I think what you should need to do is go over to Windows, and then if you actually selected standard, because they're actually different work layouts, so click on standard. And if you still don't see this here, check this menu to see that you are on effect and preset. If you still don't see this here, go over to Windows, workspace, and then click on reset standard save layout. You should get that back now. So now select your clip. The next thing you have to do, come over to effects. There are actually two plugins that you can actually use to remove the green screen. One is an external plugin, which is the Keyout, and then one is the follow com preset that follows After Effects when you manually install it. So I'm going to be using the one that actually followed After Effects. So type Keylight, and you can see this Keylight 1.2. You can easily just drag this to the clip, or you can drag this to the timeline of the clip, which is the selected layer, or you can just select the timeline and then double click, and you can actually see it now. It's now added here, just like you did for the other plugin. Any plugin you always add, there's always a preview menu for this, a preview menu for the plugin. You can see, let me see, because this is normally, this is where your project view needs to be. You can actually just easily click here to come back to it, or just anyway, this is just a drop down menu something, so you can actually see it. So now the next thing you need to do is come over to here. You see this place that says screen color, click on this icon and then select the green. Wow, you can see now, you can actually notice two things actually happen here. The green screen is actually gone, and it's also the grass color actually changed. Well, this is because the grass is actually green, so anything that looks green on the scene is actually picking it off. So if you're actually if you want to make use of the green screen, make sure the object or the character does not get any green stuff. Anything green on the environment or on the scene, it actually picks it out. So that's why when you're actually doing green stuff, there are also a lot of things you need to put in consideration. So yeah, that's it for the green. So make sure any other thing is not green on the scene, because it's actually going to pick it out. Anything green, yeah. So now let me turn back this effect. So now I'm going to add a background. Like, you guys might wonder, okay, what background are we going to use? So now let me just make a minor background. I want to add a background to this. I just say new, and then solid. Let me add a white background to this. It's actually on the top of the screen, that's why you're actually seeing white. So I'm going to take this behind. You literally need to put everything behind. So now, wow, you can see this now. So basically you can actually see this now, which it does not actually make sense now, because you can actually see this stuff here, which doesn't really make sense. So come over to your layer, your video layer, and then come over to screen matte. Then all you have to do is increase the clip black a bit, and then it's all gone. But if you could notice a little bit, you can see his trousers are actually a little bit affected. So one of the ways to fix this is because the green screen was not properly lighting, that's why we had to increase that. So one of the ways to fix is that you can come over to the video layer, duplicate this, and then you actually get a cool color. Now you can see his trousers are actually showing back. Sorry, this video is not actually that good. You can see everything is back to normal, everything's actually good. So yeah, you're good to go. You can add in any background you want. Let's say I want to put in the main background we actually plan to use in for this video, which is this one. So let me bring it in. I'm just going to drop this here. Now instead of me putting it, I want to rename this as background. So I'm just going to right click and rename, and then say BG. So I'm going to make sure your background is always behind, it's always under, just like the way this one is now. So now you can actually see now how it's looking. You can actually see now the background is there. So I know you guys might be wondering, so first of all, let me delete all these layers. So we'll get back, we'll still have to do this back again. So I deleted all the layer. You can actually see that his clothes are actually fading out. So because we don't need these guys on the scene, so how do we crop them out? Basically, you just have to come over here. You can actually use, I told you about the rectangle tool and then the pen tool on the previous tutorials. So you can actually just come here, and then you actually know where the green screen started from. Just crop out, and then you have him here. He's going, and then although here it actually worked out of the background layer is not enough, so I'm just going to duplicate this by pressing Ctrl D and then take this forward. So yeah, so you can see, so at this part he actually walked out of the frame, so we can actually just manually adjust this. It's either you animate the max parts, it's either you animate the max parts
my you can literally just adjust this max part, or you can actually animate it while it's working to just to make sure it fit, or maybe I just take this up. But you can notice that there's a tiny part here which you don't want to see, so that's why I say you can literally just animate the max part. This is just for tutorial sake.